Welcome to the Murray Cup qualifier. My name's Trevor Basque. Hello everyone, this is Trevor Basque. Got another surefire heart stopper about to get underway. Hello racers and gearheads, this is Trevor Basque, casting live from New Horizon Raceway. Welcome back to Murray Cup Racing. Hello, I'm Trevor Basque and let's go straight away to today's qualifier. If you've got Murray Cup fever, then you've come to the right place. I'll be your doctor, Trevor Basque. But instead of a cure, I'll be dosing out just more racing fever, or something. I'm not a real doctor. Let's go to the race. This is Trevor Basque for Murray Cup Racing. Let's go now to today's qualifier. We're back, and we're racing in New Horizon. I'm Trevor Basque for GSN Murray Cup coverage. Faster, harder and better than ever. Whether you're describing this Murray Cup season or me, your host Trevor Basque, you'd be right. Welcome along to the New Horizon qualifiers. You can feel the excitement here at New Horizon as we gear up for another Murray Cup race. I'm Trevor Basque and welcome to the qualifiers. You feel that? That need to feel G-forces pull blood from your brain? Well, look no further. Racing season is back. Racers are lined up and ready to go. Pilots are in place and the ships are set. Mechanics are making the final adjustments before we get underway. Engines hum and thrusters burn as they wait for that final count. Ships are at the line and you can feel the excitement. Ships are at their start positions. Pilots are ready at the gates. Pilots getting ready to launch. I just can't say enough how important a good start is to a racer. Last chance to make final adjustments as we're near the start. The wait is almost over as the ships are primed. They're off! And another race underway. And a clean launch out of the gate. It's open, throttles down. There's the start. And away we go. And here they come. And the qualifier is kicked off. And an aggressive start. Here we go. Competition is being absolutely dominated right now. I've never seen anything like this. This is a clinic of precision and skill. The leader is simply outmatching everyone. It's like they're on a whole other level. I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Perfecting the foundations of racing will always dominate tech. There are no guarantees in Murray Cup, but this race is starting to look like a sure thing. It's outstanding that these pilots have been able to maintain this pace. Pilots leading this race have to be wondering, is this the time to play it cautious, or is it the time to really go for it? There is some exemplary flying happening here today, a real treat. Everything is looking neat and tidy as these pilots show off why they're the best in the Empire. Look at that precision flying. This is just dreadful flying. Some pilots try to win through pure speed, others with precision, and by the looks of it, we have a few pilots out there trying to win through a new strategy. I'm going to dub being awful. Pack's really starting to separate. So many drivers in the rear of this pack who have just not had the opportunity yet to show what they can do. Looks like some of the pilots have chosen to hang back and avoid the whole struggling to win altogether. Seeing a lot of ships struggling to get a hold of this track today. Some pilots really having an off race. They might want to rethink any plans to buy a lottery ticket tonight. As the race goes on, pilots are really beginning to fade. At this level of competition, seeing flying this shoddy is almost a rare treat. For those of you thinking of becoming pilots, this race should be considered a prime example of how not to win races. Now there's a pilot flying in the wrong direction. We have one pilot going the wrong way round the track, so it may be worth specifying that the direction in which you cross the finish line does in fact matter. Attention to the pilots going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. Watching this ship fly the wrong way, you have to ask, are they pre-screening these pilots? You're going the wrong way. As a pilot heads in the wrong direction, we're once again reminded that drug screening has still yet to be perfected. fans, we may be moments away from a crash, as a pilot with no regards for their own life or the lives of others flies in the wrong direction. It seems we have a contrarian in the race. This is so incredibly dangerous, but I will not turn away. Someone's helmet must be too tight, because they're flying backwards. What are you doing? Someone, please make sure the pilots know how racing is supposed to work. Racing guides are there for a reason, you know? They're flying like a Jumpers fan after a match, incapable of going in a straight line. Anyone want to nudge them back on course? The trouble these pilots are having staying on the course, you might suspect that they don't actually want to be in this race. Controlling these ships at speeds this high is no easy task, as another pilot slips outside the track. Careful! Careful! What is going on here? They're off the track! That racer went wide, real wide, off the track wide. It's like we have a rebel who's not going to be penned in by your racing lines. One down. Another lap in the log. Mark that, lap done. With that lap done, this is where strategy is really going to start coming into play. During a lap, you've got to wonder if this is the point where racers will begin to make their move. That's the circuit complete. Let's see if the pilots will be making adjustments as they head into the next lap. Round we go for another lap. And the ships clear a lap. Like Synth World, that lap is done. I said recently how grateful I am that they added guns to this sport. A warning shot fired across the bow, or rather straight into it. The real trick here is maintaining target lock while not letting up on the throttle. Take your shots. Everyone hates spray and pray. So undignified. We're seeing some real offensive flying. No love lost here. Yes! Yes! That was a marvellous shot! If the race carries on like this, I'm not sure how much longer my voice will last. Murray Cup racing, the ships are fast, but the guns are faster. Shots are fired and the competition is thinned. Another competitor falls. It was a battle for the ages, but someone had to go down in flames. Careful. Advice to the pilots getting shot at. Stop getting shot at. Really getting torn up out there. Maybe start avoiding the incoming fire. Yeah, just a thought. Many people focus on hull integrity while getting shot, but they shouldn't forget each impact is like applying a tiny little brake. Nothing motivates a pilot better to go a little faster than getting shot at. Shields are lighting up as some serious damage is dealt. A pilot's getting completely edged out of this fight. They may not have the muscle for it. Taking damage like this is not something any pilot can afford. I can say from experience, when you're getting shot at like that, the main thing running through your head is, please don't hit my thrusters. Pilots are not holding back. While crashing into the other pilots may stop them from winning, it often has the adverse effect of causing you to lose as well. Oh, they clipped! Hopefully they can maintain control. Don't know the exact maths, but I'm fairly certain that two objects colliding at these speeds is roughly equal to about a metric ton of... Uh-oh. They're bumping each other like they're at a club on Terra Prime. I don't know how many more hits like that they can take. Ouch! Someone's gonna need some med gel after this race. That's why in racing we have the saying, ships don't win pretty. Now that's what I call a bang-up job. After a crash like that, these pilots have got to be asking, did I remember to give my welder a gift last Citizen Day? One pilot overtakes the competition and gamblers everywhere sweat a little bit more. We've got to change in position and a reminder that nothing is certain till they cross that final line. What a pilot making their move. Aggressive flying on full display at New Horizon today. Some expert handling as a pilot advances. We've got movement in the pack as a racer slips ahead. There's one pilot who's got to be pleased with themselves. Some clear gains being made as the racers settle in. That, race fans, is why nothing's settled till the finish line is crossed. Cutting in line, rude at the souk, perfectly acceptable at the raceway. That was a surgical move right there to slip past their competition. This is a battle for the ages. This is unbelievable! These two absolutely refuse to give up that edge. They're really jockeying for position. These racers seem determined to not give each other any breathing room. It's looking like it's going to be too close to call. Neither of these pilots seems ready to let go of the lead. Nose cone to nose cone as these pilots try desperately to find some speed. This is one tight race. With a race this close, I bet these pilots are regretting not removing that bobblehead from the dash. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? The pilot's got some work to do now to make up for the lost ground. Use it or lose it, and that pilot clearly chose lose it. There you go, lose focus for even a second, and another pilot's there to pick up the slack. Got to ask how a pilot could just give up a position like that. That's going to be a costly mistake. Falling behind, not something you want to do in races, or taxis for that matter. But that's either a rough bit of luck or a great bit of luck, depending of course on who you're cheering for. As pilots are eclipsed by their competitors, you can really tell who's got what it takes and who's got to get their resume into shape. It's make or break time, and some of these pilots are just plain broken. Qualifier, as important as this, it's so important to keep your head in the game. That could be it. That could be the decisive turn of this race. Final lap. Time for things to get interesting. It all comes down to this last lap. Racers are entering the final lap. Last lap, and time to use whatever they've got left in the tank. This is the beginning of the end, the last lap, the final bow, the ultimate circle, the big... Okay, I ran out of things, but you get the idea. The race is nearly ending. We've got one lap remaining and one last chance for these pilots to prove themselves. Getting into the final stretch, and it still could be anybody's race. Well, not anybody's. Some of these pilots are not very good. Well, it's the final lap. This is where you start to see just how good these pilots' engineering crews are. The ships have been taking a beating. The qualifier's winding down as we start the last lap. And with that lap, the end draws near. Oh, that race, ladies and gentlemen, will be the new thing I picture whilst making love to my wife. What a finish! I think we may have just witnessed the making of a legend. Remember where you were this day, race fans. Your grandkids are going to be asking about it. People ask how we're ever going to make peace with a Vandal, and I say, make them watch a race like that. I'll be damned if seeing flying that good doesn't make everyone just want to hug it out. I'm calling it. It's over. Not just this race, but all racing ever. That's how good that finish was. They didn't just win a race, they won racing itself. Did you just see that? And people wonder why I constantly scream, I love racing. If ever there was a time for the death threats against me to come to fruition, let it be now. Because racing does not get much better than that, my friends. Start to finish, that was a well-executed race. And across the line, that has got to be one pilot who's pleased with themselves. After watching that performance, it may be safe to say that we could be looking at our next Murray Cup champion. But we can't all be racers, I guess. I haven't witnessed a finish that disappointing since my first date with Rashinda Collins. Maybe do a hard reset before it saves. An abysmal race comes to an abysmal end, absolutely ruining all of our lives. Call it a qualifier, but after watching that disappointing performance, it's looking like almost none of these pilots are in fact qualified. You know you love a sport when you see a race that bad, and you're still willing to watch it ever again. It's over. And it's over. If you need to cry, please go ahead. It's not a reasonable reaction, but I'm afraid it's a natural one after a race like that. Heartfelt congratulations to the winner and a scornful shake of the head to the loser. The race is finally over and the healing process can finally begin. It's rare to see a beating this bad outside of an advocacy crime scene. Over 500 years of Murray Cup racing history, I can firmly say that this race was most certainly pretty inconsequential. Congratulations to the winners, condolences to the losers, and to those in the middle, I got nothing. There you have it, another mediocre race comes to a bland conclusion, and I die a little inside. What an exciting finish, is something I wish I could say. Instead, I'm forced to go with, that race was certainly something that happened. Oh, I was finished. Someone's supposed to wake me before the end of the boring ones. With results like these, there's always next year, I suppose. I encourage these pilots to use today's results as an opportunity for some serious soul-searching. Is racing really what I'm meant to do? Well, the one thing you get to say about that race is at least it's finally over. The sound and the fury has come to an end, and all we are left with is a lot of depressed pilots. That race may best be described by my old equivalency instructor when she said to me, "There's room for improvement." Another ring cleared. The pilots in this race, I ask, can you go faster? And if yes, then please go faster. Horizon Raceway, known throughout the circuit for its tricky turns, and of course its new horizons. As an announcer, it's important that I remain impartial, but as a race fan, I've got to say, I hope somebody crashes soon. With a racetrack this huge, it can sometimes be difficult for pilots to get a full handle on the pacing they need to set for themselves. That's when you know when the ships are really handling well, when they can pull a ring like that and still manage to hold the line. Today's race is turning out to be a real stick breaker. You'll often hear people grunting about max engine output, but give me precise maneuvering thrusters any day. Many of the pilots have switched from drinking water during the race to a hydrating gel, just to shave off those precious few grams from their ship's weight. Big risk there. We'll have to see if they made their move a little too early. Barely meters to spare, and at these intense speeds, those rings pose a significant risk. Well, I'll be damned. Yes! There we go. Now it's a race. Excellent. That was hot. No! Oh! Come on! Absolutely incredible. Nicely done. What the hell? Look at it! It's a great sight. Can't believe I'm watching this. One of the great things about Murray racing is how the debate over speed versus agility versus firepower versus defense still rages to this day. It really is outstanding how there seems to be no one way to win this race. Having the fastest ship means nothing if you're going to get your ass blown off. I'm reminded of a similar race in 2938 where all the ships also went around a track very fast. Hard to believe that there was a time when the Murray Cup was just a cup owned by a guy called Murray. New Horizon, a recent addition to the Cup, has been divisive amongst pilots as they strive to master all its nuances. It's hard to imagine what those original Murray Cup racers who used planets to mark the course would think of today's track innovations. For those of you watching who are interested in getting involved with Murray Cup racing, it really comes down to two things: practice and a ton of credits to buy a ship. Dealing with the sheer difficulty of this New Horizon course is becoming a common theme in these Murray Cup qualifiers. Dealing with stress and fatigue may almost be as important in a race like this as the ship you fly in. This course is not one you want to fight against. The best bet is to close your eyes and just go along for the ride. Little known fact, this raceway was designed from the ground up to make these pilots gently weep to themselves as they fly. That will do it for me, Trevor Basque. See you next time. And so we conclude another step in the immortal journey of man and machine, another display of technical prowess and raw instinct, another chance to watch stuff blow up. Good night. Thanks for joining me at New Horizon. I'm Trevor Basque. Keep flying. With that, today's qualifier comes to a close. I've been Trevor Basque. See you next time. Another race over and another paycheck for me, your announcer, Trevor Basque. Keep flying and good night. Pleasure as always, race fans. Goodbye and keep flying. As another race day winds down, I hope you've all had as much fun as I did. See you soon, race fans. And that's all we have for today. Trevor Basque from New Horizon Raceway, signing off. All kidding aside, thanks for watching. This is Trevor Basque. Take care, racers. With that, ladies and gentlemen, but mostly the ladies, this is Trevor Basque bidding you a fond adieu. New Horizon is really proving itself to be a thinking man's racetrack. My understanding is that Consolidate Outlands owner Silas Kerner is enjoying the race today from his luxury box. Well, let me just say this, Silas, if you're on the market for a new best friend, I'm available. The MCR's recently implemented enhanced safety protocols are on full display. Sure, it makes the race a little less exciting, but I guess some people would argue that that's worth the price of saving some lives. Not me per se, but some people. The season rapidly approaching, it's going to be interesting to see who, if anyone, really establishes themselves as a racer to watch. After Chaos Sonora's qualifier win at Issingon last week, everyone's asking if any of today's competition will knock her out of the top slot. Couldn't argue for better conditions to race in, I suppose. Call me old-fashioned, but I follow the Waylon Vickers mantra. I love it when the weather's an opponent.